Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Sarah Peralta. I'm the Public Information and Marketing Program Manager for Office of Police Oversight. How's the sound in here? Too much, too little? It's okay? All right. I have a very loud voice. It carries well. My parents complained about it constantly growing up, so I always feel like I don't need a mic, but I also don't want to leave anyone out. Well, today we have a really exciting meeting for y'all planned. We're going to be highlighting our officer involved shooting dashboard. We have the development team with us here in the house. We're super excited because this is the first data-driven project at this scale that we've launched. So we're really excited to bring this out to the community. It's been a long time coming, but as always with these meetings, we go over our data, we go over some of the other going on with this office. So we'll go ahead and get started with some housekeeping with our agenda. So like I said, we'll just kind of go into why we're meeting, what we're meeting about, and some of just the background of how this meeting works. We'll give you some updates from our office. We'll go over the quarterly data. As you know, that's the purpose of this meeting. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the team that brought us the dashboard out into the community. And then we have a demo for you guys. We have some iPads set up in the background, so if you want to scroll through the dashboard itself, and then we'll be taking your feedback. That's the best part, is we want your feedback. Every one of these meetings is designed to get your notes on how we can do things better out in the community. So we'll go ahead and get started with what we're doing here today. Oh, sorry, our community participation guidelines. So what we're doing is we are trying to make sure this is a space where everyone can share freely and safely. So there's just some guidelines that we have for when we engage together. So we want to be respectful when we're speaking to each other by taking turns. We want to be respectful by listening when others are speaking. We want to disagree respectfully. We also want to be careful when we are, talking about, hey, I went to this great meeting last week, but we don't want to be naming names, making people feel like they can't share freely in the space. So those are the expectations for this meeting. If you have any questions or concerns, let a team member know. But again, we're trying to facilitate a positive space of learning here. A little bit about our office, if you're not familiar with what we do and what our role in the community. So Austin Police Oversight is separate and independent from the Austin Police Department. What we do is we provide oversight of the Austin Police Department and only the Austin Police Department. We oversee their conduct, practices, and policies. Our job is to enhance accountability, increase transparency, and develop these sustainable partnerships throughout the community with meetings like this. And so a little bit more into detail about what we do and what we don't do. So like I said, we are separate and independent. We are civilians. We are not sworn officers. We do not report to the chief of police or APD directly. We review complaints or just general feedback from community. So if you have a great experience with an officer, or maybe a not so great experience with an officer, you can let us know. And we take that feedback and we give that to APD so they can improve their policies and practices. We have access to all of APD's databases, and that could be their body cam, that could be some of the other tools that they use for, sending officers out, dispatching them to a scene. So we do not oversee other law enforcement agencies. That's an important distinction. We are city employees who oversee other city employees. We make recommendations to the chief of police and the city manager related to discipline and administrative policies and training. We do not administer discipline directly. That's a really important thing to understand. Oh, and in the state of Texas, only the chief of police can administer discipline. We do not oversee, I skipped one, we do not oversee criminal cases. So like I said, we're employees who oversee other employees. Is an administrative process. So if there's a criminal offense that an officer has done that is outside the scope of what we do, and that is a separate investigation, we're looking at employee conduct. And a big part of what we do and what my team does is we educate community members about our processes of what we're doing on the community. We are not the final decision makers on any issues related to discipline or any related to training or any of the policies there, but we do provide recommendations, and we encourage the implementation of national best practices in policing. All right. And then what is this meeting about? We do host the quarterly Police Oversight Implementation Workgroup meeting as part of Resolution 99, which was in September of 2023. The purpose of the meeting is to share data about complaints on a quarterly basis so community members understand what's going on out here in the community with concerns related to officer conduct. So if you, like I said, if you have a great experience with officer or not so great experience with officer, you can let us know, and we collect that that data as part of our work, and that's what we report out here. So we're here to answer questions about the complaints process. And then the best part is sharing some of our work and showing you guys what we're doing in the community. So now we'll hop over to community the introduction. So we're going to go around if you're comfortable, and we'll do names and pronouns. And then we have a really fun, if you want to share where you're showing up for today, if you're coming with as a member of a group organization, or if you're just coming as someone who's interested in this work, or however you ended up here, we'd love to know more about you. And then we have a really fun icebreaker for you today. If you could instantly master any skill, what would it be? So thank you for sharing. We always feel like it makes the room feel a little bit smaller and warmer when we share a little bit with folks. So thanks for joining us this morning with that. We'll hop over to some updates from our office, so you'll know a little bit about what's coming around the corner before we go into the next portion. So this summer we're really excited. And if you were at our last meeting, you know a little bit about this. Our Know Your Rights programming will be relaunching. So we've been working with community members, including some of the folks here in this meeting today, to revamp our existing Know Your Rights programming. Our focus is very specific. It is focused on understanding your rights when interacting with law enforcement. So, you know, there's lots of information out there. As we all know, we've seen the internet, we've seen YouTube, but we want to provide information that is informed and specific so that community members feel they're empowered with interacting with law enforcement. So that should be coming this summer. And if you're on our newsletter, you'll know when our first events and our first materials are out there. Our annual report is always, you know, it takes a little time, but good things take time. It'll be coming out this fall. And so we'll be covering all of 2025's data in there and providing just a recap of all the work and all the impact in the community. Our next working group meeting will be in September. We're still working on the venue, so we don't have a date locked in for you. But again, if you're on our newsletter, you'll have the information for that and the save the date as soon as that's finalized. And then our December working group meeting as well. We usually, if everything goes to plan, we'll present our annual report data and we'll get your feedback on our 2027, God, can you believe it, work at that point. So, all right. I think I have one more slide. Oh, no, now it's time for me to hand off to Brendan Duran. He's our complaints supervisor. And he's going to talk about the quarterly data so this is the quarterly data from January to March of 2026.
Good morning, everybody. So as mentioned, I will be presenting data regarding APO's complaint division for the last quarter, as well as explaining the steps for our complaint process, because it is a bit thorough. Before we get started, I'd like to say that this presentation is just a snapshot of the work that we do here at the complaints division. Since this data is collected and reported here right now, from it being a working set, it means it can actually change depending on case processings and as investigations are closed out. So the numbers that presented are here today won't necessarily be the ones that could be changed in the future. I'd like to begin with how the complaint process starts. So the APO complaints process is for anybody who has had or witnessed an interaction between themselves or an Austin Police Department member or a police officer and wants to provide feedback. So from this feedback, they can file a complaint or a compliment online, over the phone, in person, or by mail. Understanding that that Austin is a major city, the complaints process can not only be utilized by community members, but also those passing through the city as well. It's important to note that anybody that submits feedback does not have to provide their contact information and can also remain anonymous throughout the process. At the bottom of the slide is our phone number for over the phone complaints, our website for online complaints, and our address for those wishing to make a complaint in person. On this slide, you can see the data collected by our office for the last quarter. On the first row, the title Total Contacts, you can see the sum of all feedback received from APO for the months of January through March of 2026. The total contacts are simply the number of complaints and compliments that are received for each given month. The number of anonymous complaints are included in that total complaints and concerns number. Again, not to be included as a separate metric, but just to highlight the fact that the number of anonymous complaints received for each given month. In the second row, complaints or concerns are feedback from community members alleging that the conduct of an APD officer they interacted with violated APD general orders. As you can see, there was a decrease in complaints received from the month of January to February, then followed by an increase in the month of March. It's difficult to say that the complaints received follow a trend, but they can be influenced by events in the community such as South by Southwest that took place in March. Events such as this lead to community members being in the public and increase the chance of an interaction between a community member and the Austin Police Department. The third row, titled Anonymous Complaints, is a subcategory of complaints processed where the complainant either requested to remain anonymous or did not submit their contact information with their submitted feedback. Looking at the numbers, you can see a high number of anonymous complaints in January, followed by an increase in February and March as well. I'm sorry, a decrease in February and March as well. In the last row, compliments or received feedback that highlights an officer's commendable actions during an interaction with a community member. APO forwards these to APD so that the officer can be notified of the received feedback. Next, we move to the second step of the complaint process called the preliminary review. At this point, APO has categorized the received feedback as a complaint against an APD officer. After the complaint is received, it is forwarded to a complaint specialist to conduct a preliminary review. This consists of reviewing materials like body-worn camera, dash video, written reports by the officer, and any information that the complainant submits along with their feedback. This information is used to see if a policy violation has occurred. After the preliminary review is complete, complainants can choose one of three ways how to process their complaints. We have a formal complaint in which the complainant can request a full investigation of the case and it will be forwarded to a complaint investigator. A supervisor referral in which a complainant can request to speak to an officer supervisor, or a community concern, meaning the complaint can be documented as general feedback with the Austin Police Department. As mentioned on the previous slide, a preliminary review is a thorough analysis that is completed on each complaint that Austin Police Oversight receives. As you can see in this row, the number of preliminary reviews conducted matches the number of complaints received in the slide shown earlier. Again, this is to highlight that each complaint received is reviewed and verified by available video and written evidence as part of the complaint process. Additionally, any evidence submitted by the complainant is reviewed and forwarded along with their complaint. Next is the preliminary investigation. A complainant can request a full investigation or formal complaint, and that complaint will be forwarded to a complaint investigator. The complaint investigator conducts a formal interview with the complainant regarding specifics about their interaction with that officer. After the formal interview, an affidavit is created that is reviewed with the complainant and notarized, and then sent to APD for a full investigation by the Austin Police Department Internal Affairs Unit.